Babulal Vakharia, Rishi Kapoor, is a 75-year-old unenthusiastic widower who believes that he is too aged and fragile to enjoy life. His 102-year-old father Dattatreya Vakharia, Amitabh Bachchan, is his stark opposite who enjoys life in his jovial ways as his mental age is just 26. Dhirubhai Srivastav, Jimit Trivedi, also known as Dhiru, is an employee working at the nearby medical store who delivers medicines to the Vakharias. Dhiru likes Dattatreya due to his lively attitude but is scared of Babulal due to his grumpy nature. Meanwhile, Dattatreya aims to break the record of a longest living Chinese person on earth, who lived up till 118 years of age. He seeks to get rid of all the negative and boring elements surrounding him to accomplish his goal. Hence, he threatens to send his son to an old age home as that will be more convenient for Babulal too. After Babulal protests, Dattatreya allows him to stay at home only if he completes some tasks. Uddharan. Firstly, Babulal writes a love letter to his deceased wife Chandrika, in which he expresses dismay as she had once got into an argument with his deceased mother Saraswati but never with his father. Secondly, he stops visiting his doctor's clinic for a daily checkup, instead of accusing the doctor of theft as per Dattatreya's advice. According to the third task, Dattatreya asks Babulal to cut holes in his childhood blanket which he and Saraswati had bought for him in Kashmir. Babulal instantly rejects his proposal. Later, Dhiru takes Babulal to a playground which reminds him of his childhood memories. He is subsequently taken to a church, which reminds Babulal of the memories he had spent with his estranged son Amol Vakharia. Dharmendra Gohil, who lives in the US, he becomes sorrowed and buys a cake from a city bakery, distributing it to young children on the streets. Babulal even completes the third task by cutting holes in the blanket and begins to appreciate his father's outlook on life, much to Dattatreya's delight. Few months later, things start to take a turn when Amol tries to call up Babulal repeatedly but Dattatreya cleverly disconnects his phone calls, not wanting Amol to communicate with his son. However, Babulal learns about Dattatreya's interruption and calls Amol, who informs him that he will be soon visiting India. Dattatreya gives Babulal his last task, which is to kick Amol out of their house once he will arrive in India. For all his negligence towards his family, he is aware that Amol's motive of visiting them after several years is to claim their property as their heir. Not wanting to behave rudely with his son, Babulal gets furious at Dattatreya and stops talking to him. While trying to convince Babulal, Dattatreya reveals to Dhiru that Babulal had spent all his savings to send Amol abroad for his studies. However, Amol ignored him by telling him nothing about his new life over there, getting married, and settling in the US. He even discloses that after Amol's settlement in America, Chandrika suffered from Alzheimer's disease in her last days and unfortunately, the only thing she remembered till her death was Amol. Babulal still chides Dattatreya for his advices against Amol and begs him not to interfere between them both. Dhiru also supports Babulal for the first time, thinking that Amol should be given a second chance. However, Dattatreya reveals to Babulal and Dhiru that few months ago, he underwent a medical checkup and learned that he has brain tumor and realized that he would not remain for long. This provoked him to cook up the story of his goal in the old age home for Babulal. In order to make Babulal get rid of his grumpy and unenthusiastic approach towards life, Babulal understands Dattatreya's pain and decides to fulfill his last wish for his happiness. Eventually, Amol arrives in India and meets Babulal at the airport gate. Over there, Babulal confronts Amol over his pursuit of something apart from his teachings. He even berates him over how his negligence towards the family caused his mother's death. Handing over Amol's childhood savings, Babulal humiliates Amol in public and orders him to leave, delighting Dattatreya and Dhiru. Dattatreya then expresses his last wish before Babulal, that he should whistle loudly the moment he breathes his last. Babulal then takes Dattatreya for an outing from his wheelchair and the two happily dance in the rain. Uddharan Chennai. 1 month later, Babulal and Dhiru are shown sitting by the sea in the happy memories of the recently deceased Dattatreya. Over there, Dhiru presents Babulal a recording of Dattatreya, who predicts in it that the record of the longest living person will be broken by Babulal himself. Uddharan.